Richard, the snake hunter of Ijero. In the heart of the lush Nigerian landscape, where the dense forest meets the sprawling savanna, lies the quaint town of Ijero. This town, though small and seemingly ordinary, is known far and wide for one extraordinary individual, Richard, the snake hunter of Ijero. Richard was not born into a family of hunters. In fact, his parents were simple farmers who tilled the rich soil and tended to their crops with care and dedication. From a young age, Richard displayed an uncanny affinity for the natural world. He would spend hours exploring the forest, listening to the rustle of leaves and the calls of the wild creatures that inhabited it. His fascination with snakes began when he was just a boy. One afternoon, while wandering through the forest, he stumbled upon a young cobra trapped in a net. Instead of running in fear, Richard approached the snake with a calm and curious demeanor. He carefully untangled the net and set the snake free, watching in awe as it slithered away into the underbrush. From that moment on, he felt a deep connection with these enigmatic creatures. As Richard grew older, his knowledge of snakes expanded. He read every book he could find on the subject, spoke with local elders who shared their wisdom, and spent countless hours observing the reptiles in their natural habitat. By the time he reached his early 20s, he had become an expert on the snakes of Ijero and the surrounding regions. The people of Ijero had always had a complicated relationship with snakes. On one hand, they revered these creatures for their beauty and the role they played in the ecosystem. On the other hand, they feared them, as many species were venomous and posed a threat to their lives and livestock. It was this fear that led them to seek Richard's help whenever a snake was spotted in their homes or fields. Richard never turned down a request for assistance. No matter how dangerous the situation, he would arrive with his trusty tools, a long wooden staff, a sturdy sack, and a small vial of antivenom, just in case. His calm demeanor and confident approach reassured the townspeople, and he quickly earned their trust and admiration. One of Richard's most memorable encounters occurred during the peak of the rainy season. The heavy rains had caused the rivers to swell and flood the surrounding areas, driving many animals, including snakes, into the town. One night, as the rain poured down in torrents, Richard was awakened by frantic knocking on his door. "Richard, Richard, please help us." It was Mr. Adeola, the town's blacksmith, his voice trembling with fear. Richard sprang out of bed and opened the door. "What's wrong, Mr. Adeola?" "There's a huge snake in our house. It's in the children's room." Without a moment's hesitation, Richard grabbed his staff and sack and followed Mr. Adeola through the rain-soaked streets to his home. The blacksmith's wife and children were huddled outside, their faces pale with terror. "Stay here," Richard instructed them. "I'll take care of it." He entered the house and made his way to the children's room, where he found a massive python coiled around the bedpost. The snake hissed menacingly, its eyes gleaming in the dim light. Richard approached slowly, speaking in soothing tones to calm the creature. With practiced precision, he used his staff to gently guide the snake into the sack, then tied it securely. When he emerged from the house, the Adeola family erupted in cheers of relief and gratitude. Richard smiled and assured them that the snake would be safely released far from town. It was moments like these that reaffirmed his dedication to his calling. Richard's reputation as the snake hunter of Ijero continued to grow. He received requests for assistance from neighboring villages and even from cities miles away. He never sought fame or fortune, only the opportunity to help people and protect the snakes he had come to respect and admire. One day, Richard received a letter from a renowned herpetologist, Dr. Amina Okafor, inviting him to speak at a conference in Lagos. Dr. Okafor had heard of Richard's work and was eager to learn more about his methods and experiences. Richard was honored by the invitation and agreed to attend. The conference was a grand affair, attended by scientists, researchers, and snake enthusiasts from around the world. Richard, dressed in his simple, practical attire, stood out among the crowd. When it was his turn to speak, he addressed the audience with humility and passion. "I am not a scientist," he began, "but I have spent my life learning from nature and from the snakes themselves. They are not to be feared, but respected. They play a crucial role in our ecosystem, and it is our responsibility to protect them." His speech was met with thunderous applause, and he was approached by many attendees eager to learn from him. Dr. Okafor, impressed by his knowledge and dedication, proposed a collaboration. She suggested conducting a study on the snake population in Ijero, to better understand their behavior and ecology. Richard agreed, and together, they embarked on a research project that would span several years. They tracked and documented various snake species, studied their habitats, and worked to educate the local communities about the importance of conservation. Through their efforts, the people of Ijero and the surrounding regions came to appreciate the vital role snakes played in their environment. Richard's partnership with Dr. Okafor also led to the establishment of a small research center in Ijero, where students and researchers could study snakes and other wildlife. It became a hub of knowledge and innovation, attracting visitors from all over the world. Despite his growing fame, Richard remained humble and grounded. He continued to respond to calls for help, rescuing snakes and educating people about their importance. His work brought him joy and fulfillment, and he felt a deep sense of purpose. Years passed, and Richard grew older, but his passion for snakes never waned. He trained a new generation of snake hunters, passing on his knowledge and skills to ensure that the legacy of conservation and respect for nature would continue. One evening, as the sun set over the lush landscape of Ijero, Richard sat on his porch, reflecting on his life's journey. He had faced many challenges and dangers, but he had also met countless friends and allies. He had seen the fear in people's eyes turn to understanding and appreciation. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Richard felt a sense of peace. He knew that his work had made a difference, not only for the snakes he had saved but for the people who had come to see them in a new light. The snake hunter of Ijero had left an indelible mark on his community, and his legacy would endure for generations to come. In the quiet of the night, the call of a distant owl echoed through the air, a reminder of the wild beauty that surrounded him. Richard smiled, knowing that he had found his place in the world, a place where he could live in harmony with the creatures he loved and continue to protect them for as long as he could. And so, the story of Richard, the snake hunter of Ijero, became a legend, a testament to the power of knowledge, respect, and dedication. His life was a beacon of hope and inspiration, illuminating the path for all who sought to understand and preserve the natural world. The discovery. One particularly hot summer, Richard was informed about an unusual number of snake sightings near the outskirts of Ijero. The townspeople were growing increasingly alarmed. Richard, accompanied by his young protege, Adebayo, decided to investigate the matter further. The duo trekked through the dense forest, following the reports of the locals. After several hours, they came upon an abandoned quarry. To their astonishment, they discovered a large nest of snakes, including several species that were not native to the area. It appeared that the quarry had become a sanctuary for these reptiles, providing them with ample hiding places and a steady supply of food. "How do you think they ended up here?" Adebayo asked, his voice filled with curiosity and concern. Richard pondered for a moment. It's possible that changes in the environment or human activity have driven them from their usual habitats. We need to study this further and ensure that both the snakes and the people of Ijero are safe. They spent the next few days carefully documenting the snake population in the quarry. Richard contacted Dr. Okafor, who joined them in their research. Together, they developed a plan to relocate some of the snakes to more suitable environments and to create awareness among the local communities about the importance of coexistence. The discovery of the quarry brought Richard and his team into the limelight once again. News of their efforts to study and protect the snake population spread across the country, earning them accolades from conservationists and environmental organizations. The Snake Festival, in an effort to further educate the public and celebrate the rich biodiversity of their region, Richard and Dr. Okafor organized the first ever snake festival in Ijero. The festival aimed to dispel myths and misconceptions about snakes, highlighting their ecological importance and the need for conservation. The event attracted visitors from near and far. It featured educational exhibits, live demonstrations, and interactive workshops. Children were particularly enthralled by the opportunity to see and learn about snakes up close. Richard's team, including Adebayo, shared their knowledge and experiences, fostering a sense of respect and admiration for these misunderstood creatures. The highlight of the festival was Richard's keynote speech. Standing before a captivated audience, he spoke with heartfelt passion about his life's work and the need to protect the natural world. "Snakes have been a part of our world for millions of years," he said. "They are not our enemies, but our allies in maintaining the balance of nature. By understanding and respecting them, we can create a harmonious coexistence." The festival was a resounding success, leaving a lasting